Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Pitch Perfect. Before we commence with the session, just to demonstrate how pitching works, we would like to present a 1-minute short video on the Tedx South Bank pitch winner, Joseph Wheeler.
You can't see. You can't see.
You cannot see?
No.
Over the past 2 years,
visible.
youth
It's
unemployment
visible.
has been on the rise. It currently represents just under 40% of all unemployment in Australia. Young graduates are leaving university and finding it more and more difficult to enter any...
Can you stop sharing? Share it
It is
again.
not being shared properly.
Yes.
Again, share it once again.
Yeah. Now I can see.
Over the past 2 years, youth unemployment has been on the rise. It currently represents just under 40% of all unemployment in Australia. Young graduates are leaving university and finding it more and more difficult to enter any form of creative industry. Now, the common stipulation is that you can't get a job without experience, but you can't get a job to get the experience. Now, meanwhile, 42% of small businesses failed in 2003 to 2007, and the figures haven't improved much. Amongst many reasons this is happening is a consistent lack of quality in their branding, marketing, websites, and designs. The kind of training that these graduates have just spent 3 to 6 years training for. Now, what if there was an enterprise that bridged these two sets of frightening statistics? I want to build that bridge.
I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying, said Jeff Bezos, founder and executive chairman of Amazon. Every entrepreneurial journey is a story about a person with a vision, challenges, failures, and success. Don't be afraid of failing because failure is a lesson in itself. Fear not trying in the first place because if you don't build your dreams, someone will hire you to build theirs. On that note, a very good afternoon to everyone and welcome to Pitch Perfect, an interactive session with startup founders. This session has been possible because of the RUSA funding received by our college for entrepreneurship and skill development. I am Trapti Jain, and on behalf of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Center for Innovation in Entrepreneurship and Institutions Innovation Council, a very warm welcome to our guest speakers for being here with us today. I welcome our principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, Vice Principal, Dr. Tessie Tadatil, Head of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Dr. Shreyu Bhakre, faculty members and participants to this program. I would request Dr. Rishikesh Soman, Principal of our SCAC, to kindly speak a few words. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back, my alumni.
The SCAC Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship endeavors to foster an entrepreneurial ecosystem in the college, and it provides the students with a platform for starting their own ventures. The college has also constituted an Institutions Innovation Council as per the guidelines of Government of India, Ministry of Education, with the vision of infusing innovative and entrepreneurial acumen among the students. Today's program, Pitch Perfect, aims to weave entrepreneurial ventures into stories. It will equip the students with first-hand entrepreneurial insights with the journeys of our young and dynamic startup founders who have chosen to stand out of the crowd and pave a different path for themselves and make a lasting impact. Our guest speakers for today are Tanya Diwan, co-founder of Nimantran Digital Designs, Tanmay Shah, founder of Rocklas, Tushar Avdhani, founder of Cosset Care and Period Ready, and finally, Amya Madan, founder of Ecrivons. We all request you, all attendees, to kindly remain with us throughout the session so that you don't miss out on any entrepreneurial insights. With that, I would like to hand over the platform to Gautami to take us further into the session.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trapti. First of all, I would like to thank all the panel members for accepting our invitation. We would like to take you all through their individual journeys, followed by their pitch and questions from Team CIE, and later open it for the audience. Before we start, there's a quick announcement. We were supposed to have 5 speakers today, but Sarthak Mehrotra wouldn't be joining us due to some unavoidable circumstances from his end. But I'm sure he'll join us some other time. And regardless of that, we have 4 amazing speakers lined up for y'all. So without any further ado, let's just get started. Our first speaker for the day is Tanya Diwan. She is an alumna of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce and co-founder of Nimantran Digital Designs. Her venture is a one-stop solution for design needs, offering services in graphic designing, brand identity, social media design, and website design. She was also the student organizer of Tedx SCAC, recipient of the Best Student Award of College, Principal's Appreciation Award, Best Student Entrepreneurship Development Cell, now known as Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Tanya has an experience of working as the design lead at SND Media. She was also one of the panelists of Simbi Talks too. Over to you, Tanya.
Unmute yourself, Tanya.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for such a kind introduction. It was very sweet. And I can't wait to share my story with all of you. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Back when our CIE was EDC, this used to be our opening line for each event promoting entrepreneurship. And I take immense pleasure to be using the same lines today as I take you through my entrepreneurial journey. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tanya Diwan, co-founder and creative lead at Nimantran Digital Designs. So before I talk about my venture, let me tell you a little about myself. After graduating from Symbiosis in entrepreneurship, like every other ambitious millennial, I assumed that MBA is the quintessential path to make it big in life. And hence, I decided to opt in for the communications program presented by the Flame University, where I was offered a 100% academic scholarship. But life had other plans. I felt as if my creativity was caged, due to which my mental health really went to the dogs. So I eventually dropped out of the course and decided to give a true shot to my passion for graphic designing, which I had discovered back when I used to design college fest posters in Symbiosis. So after that, I interned at a design agency for 3 months and went about becoming the design lead at S&D Media, as Gautami mentioned in my introduction. Mind you, it was the learning that not just happened inside the classroom, but outside the classroom during my journey at Symbiosis that gave me these internship opportunities that eventually changed my life. So the idea of Nimantran was actually perceived when I was still the design lead at my second job. And my childhood best friend, Krishna, my co-founder, she and I always wanted to have a business that we could call our own. So in our free times, we used to discuss random business ideas like starting off a customized jewelry venture or even buying a franchisee of Lakhi Delhi. One night when the entire world was in the lockdown, we were on a video call where we were making fun of this poorly designed wedding invite that was made for one of her friends. And at that moment, it just clicked. We knew that we could do this better and thought of giving this a true shot. So, since the entire world was going digital at that point of time, we thought we should just pounce on this opportunity. And that night, our business outline was drawn: a design studio that makes digital wedding invites, and chose the obvious brand name Nimantran. So Krishna actually also holds a bachelor's in retail from Symbiosis itself, from Symbiosis Skills University. And I did my bachelor's in entrepreneurship. So because we were taught in college, we were like, okay, the first step is obviously to do our market research. And so we began. We stalked almost 50 Instagram profiles that belong to the same business to understand their pricing structure, their customer journey, and their overall modus operandi. We even faked as customers who needed wedding invites for themselves to understand their business better. We soon designed a set of invite templates, set up our social media profiles, and launched. But let me share with you guys, the wedding business in India is not how they show it in Band Baja Bharat. Little did we know that designing a wedding invite for an Indian couple is equivalent to khud ka band bajana. Because as easy as it may seem, but like marriages in India are not just between a girl and a boy, same goes with the invitation. Okay, the entire family gets involved, and we soon realized that every time a fufa ji did not like a particular color or chachi ji did not like a particular font, the amount of effort and time that was costing us to make those changes did not justify our effort at all. So we knew that we had to innovate and diversify. Our next phase was followed by introducing poster design as a service. So, since we all know, during the lockdown, everyone had the chance to look back at their long lost hobbies and interests. I consider that a golden era for homepreneurs because everybody had the chance to pick on that one thing that they always wanted to do but could not do due to lack of timing, etc. And we thought that this is the opportunity we need to capitalize on. We started to cater to design needs of such small home-based businesses who were in need of marketing solutions at affordable rates. So as time passed, we added some amazing projects to our portfolio and people started recognizing us. We were highly praised of two things. First, our customer service and our design qualities. Two pillars that I'm very proud on which our business is built. We became the one-stop solution for all design needs for our customers. The journey of making Nimantran a successful and profitable venture was not easy. There were several tough decisions involved, and one of them was to quit my job and put in my 100% time to this business. It took me a lot of sleepless nights, discussions with my elders, friends, and a lot of self reflection to take that call. I know that letting go of a fixed handsome salary amount getting credited to your account every month is very difficult to let go of. But Sharayu ma'am's favorite vision for me, that Tanya, you're born to be a job maker and not a job seeker, was one thing that always motivated me. So, as you know, the outcome, I'm here today sharing my story with you all. Today, I call myself a proud MBA dropout and a proud job quitter because today I'm an owner. I'm an owner of my dreams. Coming back to business, at Nimantran, we believe that design is indispensable in communicating who we are and what we value. We ideate, deliberate, and create design assets that complement your marketing efforts and help you reach to your target customer. We don't just focus on the aesthetics, but also the communication part. Our business verticals broadly include brand design, graphics, social media, and web design. In less than 2 years' time, we've had the opportunity to deliver 300 plus designs across various industries, and we have served more than 80 happy clients, and some of them work on a retainer basis with us. We've also served globally to clients located in Dubai, Australia, the USA, and London. We grew from a team of two best friends to an organization of four and registered our business under the Udyam program for MSMEs launched by the Government of India very recently. So, before I conclude my part, I have jotted down 3 points that I believe would be useful to all of you who aspire to have a business or a startup of your own. First, take your graduation seriously. I know it is very easy to be tempted, to sit out classes and events and just hang out with friends and, not listen to what your teachers are saying or asking you to do or participate. But I would strongly recommend to make the best use of the amazing resources that our college entrepreneurship department provides to you. It was my first practical experience, the first practical exposure on which I could build my entrepreneurial journey. Had I not been such an active part, I would not have half the practical knowledge I have when I started off my own business. Second, do not fall in love with your ideas. It's very easy to be swayed away by your business idea and have this unshaken faith that I have figured it out and I just know what I've got to do. But it is essential that you understand what the market wants, what your client wants. As a good entrepreneur, you need to be a keen observer and a good listener. So try to not fall in love with your idea, detach yourself, and always remember that there's always scope of improvement. You have not cracked it. And my last tip to all of you is be shameless. In my opinion, an entrepreneur has to be shameless. Many will try to belittle your idea, and say that what are you doing? घर पे बैठ के कौन पैसे कमाता है? Don't listen to them. Be shameless in asking questions, taking feedback, asking for the price you think your business deserves. And of course, be shameless in sending your clients payment reminders once the job is done. Ma'am, sir, thank you for motivating me to become the best version of myself. That's been my journey till now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I think that was a wonderful pitch sort of. I mean, like when we thought of asking questions, like what do we ask her? The first question was like maybe just ask her about how she's able to retain customers, how she's able to maybe keep up with the competition. But apart from that, the one thing that really caught my this thing was when you said don't fall in love with your ideas. So on that line, what would you like to tell budding entrepreneurs how to balance between being confident about your ideas, but at the same time being able to take proper critique from people and take those feedbacks and work on them?
Of course. So, as I shared with everyone, that our first business model was to just make wedding invitations. Yeah. Had I fallen in love with that idea and not, thought of innovating and adding more services, Nimantran wouldn't be this successful. So, even though you need to have confidence in yourself, but you also need to be a keen observer and a listener. You need to understand what the market scenario is. Is the market ready for your product? So, time, process, protocol, pricing, all of this, India is a land of price sensitive customers. And overall, I would say since the competition so much that you need to to be able to be successful, you need to take all of this in mind. So when I say do not fall in love with your idea, what I mean is that you need to be wary of all these, take them into consideration, and never fail to innovate.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. My second question to you would be on the basis of a creative block, right? So artists and creators have been very vocal these days about facing a creative block. And since you're closely associated with the actual designing part of the business, what would you like to tell your fellow creators of coming out of that creative block, or maybe even keeping up with that phase and how to get through that phase?
So, I'm going to be very honest with all of you. Touch wood, I have not had a creative block till now. I think we're just babies in the world of entrepreneurship. We've just started, and luckily, I have not had it now. But of course, there are some times where I just don't get an idea. Yeah, we have received a brief, so and I just don't get an idea. So during that time, one of the things that can really help you is the team that you have built. So Krishna works with me, my co-founder, and a Symbiosis student, Prachi, is the junior designer with me. So if I'm not getting an idea, we brainstorm, we come together and think of the best possible way to do it, and we take each other's work by bits. Like if I am not getting an idea, maybe Prachi will pick it up if she's having a little trouble. So I think the best way, if you're working with a design agency or something like that, then it's best to have a very strong team who can help you during those moments. And otherwise, sometimes, yeah, just zone out, shut your laptops and take a day off. It's okay. I think it's very natural.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so when we talk about entrepreneurship, or when we talk about an entrepreneur per se, there's no defined set of qualities that one needs to possess. It's very diverse, and I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
there are so many theories, theorems that people come up with. There are formulas, but I honestly believe that there's no one such magic formula that one has, right? So keeping aside all the legal, technical, financial aspects, my question to you would be, what's the best part of being an entrepreneur?
Okay, so whenever I'm asked that, Tanya, what do you do? Like if a guest comes at home or I have to introduce myself. And when I say that I have my own business, I'm a businesswoman, I think that is the best part. That just makes my day. Rather than saying I work for XYZ company or, I hold XYZ position at an organization, I say I am a businesswoman. And as I mentioned earlier also, I'm the owner of my dream. So I always dreamt. In fact, the business that I'm doing right now, it was actually my third year entrepreneurship project that I presented. And, it makes me feel so good that, okay, that is what I had visioned and I'm living my dream now. So that's the best part, being a
Yeah,
owner of your dreams.
yeah. Sometimes you just sow a seed and then it, just takes you places, and it just makes you feel good about, oh my God, this is something I dreamed of once upon a time and now I'm actually doing it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if we have any questions for Tanya from the audience, please raise your hand. We would love to take your questions. Yeah, so I think Malhar has a question. Go ahead, Malhar. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gautami. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Malhar.
So, Tanya, before I ask you the question, I just want to tell you that your batch, you had graduated the batch when I first came into college, and right from my first year, and now I'm in my last semester in college. We have seen you come to one event or the other, and we have kind of seen your journey and development through the last 3 years. So, I just want to congratulate you because we have kind of lived through that experience.
So
And
sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
yeah. And so the question that I wanted to ask is something which, I think about a lot in today's world, especially where we see, the startup space in India has been, such a big part of everybody's life now. We have all these reality shows coming and people are talking about entrepreneurship. So the question that I want to ask is, in this situation, it's very easy for people, who want to start with their businesses to think only about the monetary aspect. That I want to start something, I'll make some money, and then I'll just go off. But I think the kind of conversation needs to go around solving a bigger problem. So when you began with your business and when you are running it now and you're performing your activities on a daily basis, do you think that's an important aspect that everybody should keep in mind, that it's not just about how much you can gain, but how much you can give back to the society?
Of course, of course. So, of course, monetary aspect of any business is very important. After a point of time, it becomes essential. You have to pay bills. We're all grown-ups now. So, but what I believe is that if you're good at what you do, if you deliver actual value to your customers, money will follow. You as an entrepreneur, if a person is too obsessed with having a fixed income being credited to their bank accounts, I feel that entrepreneurship is just not for them. Okay, it is a journey full of unexpected events. There's going to be a month that you earn a lot of money, you're getting a lot of contracts, and then there's going to be a month where you don't get so much. So I feel that to balance it out, an entrepreneur also needs to have very good financial knowledge of savings, so that you yourself can neutralize your earnings. Okay, and along with the work part, so honestly I feel that whoever has a passion and they're pursuing that passion on an everyday basis, they fall in love with their work. Like, they enjoy every part of it. There's no, of course there are parts like where I have to talk to clients and remind them of so they come back with changes. That's irritating at times, but otherwise I love this because this is something that I have built. Yeah. And regarding the finances, I hope that gives you a little bit of help in terms of planning your finances in a way that in a month where there is a huge disparity, you have your savings to cover them up for you.
Okay.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think if we have any questions for you, Tanya, we'll take it in the very end so that other speakers also get to present their story. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker for the day is Tanmay Shah. He is also an alumnus of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Pune, and founder of Rocklas. He has been the recipient of Best Student Award for being the organizer of Simagine and Best Student of Liberal Arts. His entrepreneurial ventures include Rocklass, experimental entertainment services, which provides experiential entertainment and tourism through adventure camps in the Western Ghats, Southern Islands, and Himalayas. Rocklass NFT, crypto, Web3, and blockchain, which sells art NFTs and physical artworks internationally. Rockla Studio, which is a podcast to discuss everything interesting ranging from art, books, NFTs, science, business, health, future, spirituality, and Rockla's Developers Private Limited, ICT Enjoyment Private Limited, and ICT Visionaries Private Limited, which is involved in construction and management of an iconic real estate project. Over to you, Tanmay.
I'm going to keep it very raw. I want to keep it interactive and answer your questions directly so that I'm more relatable to you or help you solve your current issues. So until then, I'll just, as it is a pitch, I'll just give you my recent pitch, which I'm doing for NFTs. Until then, you can think about your questions and then we can talk about it. So as you all know, blockchain technology is coming up. With blockchain, you have the ownership of digital assets, and NFTs are a contract of anything. So currently I'm into selling digital and physical artworks. So my pitch goes like this. My artistic identity is to express my running thoughts and emotions through different mediums and styles. So I've got a very diverse NFT collection. This collection includes, it can be categorized into three categories. One is abstract, one is 3D animated artworks, one is figurative artworks. So all this express my different thoughts. You can see the collection on the links which I provide. And this with this NFTs, I also support mental health as a cause. And if you so usually we put up the link and talk about individual artworks. So you can just check that out. And until then, I can say, see, my artwork may not solve the COVID issue of the world or may not take you to the Mars, but definitely get smile on your face and arouse different emotions. Spark a conversation if the artwork is on your physical wall or your digital wall. And as I say, what is a pizza without cheese? What is a sky without stars? And for us, what is a vada pav without aloo? What is your NFT collection without my NFTs? So do collect one today and join my collectors A list and let's grow together. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Tanmay. So, like I mentioned before, you have so many things going on. There are multiple units that work under you. So, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we always talk about building a startup, right? It is always about how to the idea that you convert into an actual venture and maybe you starting out. But very rarely we do talk about sustaining that business or sustaining that idea to be able to take it forward. And there are various complexities that come with building a startup and actually being able to run it properly, right? There could be minute details that new entrepreneurs might just overlook. So what are a few pointers that you would like people to keep in mind when they're starting out their ventures?
See, first of all, you cannot start with thinking of sustainability. You cannot, it has to be a going venture, or you have to think that I'll be doing this for next 5-10 years. And that don't let that thought prevent you from taking the first step. So just go ahead and take it and do it, dive in. And I always say explore, experiment, and just keep experiencing. So the three businesses which Shri Gautami mentioned, thank you for that. So the first one is my startup as with my father. So this business is new for both of us. Of course, he has got experience. We were into manufacturing, but this Rocklass Developers Private Limited is into real estate. So we are building an iconic project in Ahmednagar, which is going to change the skyline. There are some things unique in the whole India. 2 floors revolving restaurant, by 50 residential houses, and there's a commercial building in the front with different floors for different activities. So this is very local. This businesses depend on uh, place to place. So do what is required for your business and know that this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. So the COVID has come in between. There are many things that you will come in that will make you think that is it what I'm doing it's correct or not. So just think about why did you start that, what made you do that, and just keep that thought and keep going ahead with it. And of course, this business was depended on many local things. I had got some extra time after I had put into systems. I had offloaded my main work of management, accounts, marketing, finance, all those. I am able to, since 6 months, I am able to offload that and not play a very active role, but I go for any problem solving or any emergency. So I use that time to do what I like. I try to put all my things together of tourism, of art, of talking to international people into one. And we started this podcast as well, apart from NFTs. So my host is Laura Grinberger. She is based in London, and we interview experts from around the world in different fields to get their experience in from personal lives to from their past and field of expertise. Tomorrow we are having a major general of India coming in. Last week we had a startup of the largest peer-to-peer crypto exchanges called Paxful. He keeps traveling. He's based in London, and then he's working on projects in Africa as well. So like that, we keep having different experiences. So this, and coming back to your question about what are the pointers that entrepreneurs should keep in way. First of all, you should secure your downside. As many people say, that you have to have a certain limit of ways of getting finance. Finance is the main thing that will turn you around or stretch you as much as possible. So have a limit that under this I will not come, or if I come, this is a reserve for that. So this is one. And also, best definition of wealth which I have heard is it's not how much you have in the bank. It's your confidence or skills of how quickly can you raise that from available or not immediately available channels. So that is the main thing. Apart from that, you can find resources, insights from everywhere. You can talk to people around the world and experts from around the field. You can get almost every information from online. So that's how I've been. I'm a commerce graduate like you, but I've taught myself all this cryptocurrency, designing, tourism, all these things I've taught myself. And as Soman sir was asking, what did you get from MBA and all that? So I've not done MBA. Since college, it was my strong point that I don't want to do a job. I want to rather be a job creator. And MBA, I actually wanted to do MBA since 8th standard. That was in my mind that I'm going to do MBA. I'm going to do MBA after I graduate. I didn't know what to do for graduation, but I knew what to do for MBA. But since after third year or so, my thoughts changed. I didn't want to do anything more general. So MBA gives you a flavor of HR, finance, and everything together at once. So I said, rather than that, I will spend my time teaching myself and learning myself in what directly field I want to go and expertise in a particular field. So that's how I went ahead. And yes, I went around your question, answered that, and went ahead. I will welcome your next question, please.
Yeah, sure. You just mentioned that you have some amazing people coming on your podcast, right? I've always felt that every single person that you meet in your journey gives something. There's something that a person will obviously like teach you. It could be like a small child also. So what have these people taught you, and how have they sort of shaped you as a person and as an entrepreneur?
Of course, every person which comes in, teacher teaches us different things about from their, even if they are okay. Let me tell you something. Which is the best marketing company who has the biggest marketing budget? It's Coca-Cola. Everybody in the world knows, has seen a Coca-Cola bottle, can refer or relate with that brand. So if you want to learn about marketing, the best person to go to will be the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of Coca-Cola. But you cannot get in touch with him. He is very busy and may not be, he has a lot of other priorities. So whom do you learn marketing from, or whom do you learn anything from? So it's best when you learn it from some people who are 10 or 5 or 10 or 50 steps ahead of you. They are more accessible. They can share information from their field, from what they have learned. So I am not to my final success, I would plan it, but I'm 5-10 steps ahead of you. And I can share with my experience what questions which I had in college, and I can answer you according to that perspective. So in the same way, those people who come on podcast, of course, they are best of the best, and also people who are in that range, they teach from their insights. They share thoughts from their field of expertise from life. So from life, they share about their fitness or the books that they read or what inspires them. And from the field of expertise, it depends on the speaker. We had an angel investor. He was an IVF specialist. He had a great episode of that. So maybe I can share the link with you of the podcast, and you can go and listen to all the episodes. Then we had a tantra practitioner. She's a German lady who was into tantra and talked about it. Then we had an art historian and museum. She was from Iran but now in Istanbul, and she was talking about the whole process, whole journey. The one before this, just in the last week, and then we had one person who was a comedian. He in Las Vegas. He talked about his journey and how COVID impacted him, and he started NFT and this journey into that. So you get a lot of insights, and what I say, you might not be able to relate directly from what I gain from it. But once you hear them, you can relate, and you might that might answer your questions indirectly. So it's better to listen to such people. And for me, as you mentioned, what I have got from it, it has made me more confident. It has made me given me more energy to go explore and try out new things, and given a general idea of what is happening around in different parts of the world, and where are people in what kind of field and what challenges are happening around. Because I always keep asking myself, what is the biggest problem which I want to solve next? What is the biggest problem that can be solved? So that's what I'm gaining from that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tanmay. So my next question to you is, when you are somebody with like a good vision and you are somebody who's very driven, it becomes equally important to have a bunch of people working with you who are equally driven and focused towards the vision that you have, right? So team building becomes a very crucial factor. So can you throw some light on effective team building?
Yes. So now it'll depend on your places to places, cities to cities, and business to business. Team which we have built has we have got a we have got contractors, we have got staff, office staff, we have got marketing people. So we have taken a lot of interviews, given ads to different mediums, and then got them. Ahmednagar is not like Pune, that all these online websites or LinkedIn, all that things may not work here. So what was the best available and best channel to reach out to them? We have reached out to them through that, filtered a lot of them, kept them, and then kept on changing. And the most important insight I would like to give about team building is, you'll have this question: what happens? I train this person so much, this manager I'm given so much thought, he leaves away, and what will happen? My whole work and mehnat has gone in waste, and I have to start again from the scratch for the new person. That is the main thing that you need to be care of. Your whole your whole management should be on system rather than a person. No matter how many people come in or go, the system takes care of them. So what I mean by system, it's a curriculum of what do you start when, what one needs to do, what one needs to educate. So we have got a pitch, or brochures, what they need to talk to customers, what is the protocol to do, what questions come in, what to solve in, how to deal with customers, bankers, or workers. So we have created a system, and that system can be enhanced with a CRM software, or something like that. And I think, as Soman sir was asking, CRM software is a very necessary tool, and tools like this are very necessary to be taught at graduation level itself. So the CRM is for customers. Then there is a system where you operations and everything is taken care of there. So all these things you need to, if it is not available directly, go search. It is definitely help you. It'll save a lot of time. It will keep you organized. Save a lot of paperwork, and you'll know everything what people are doing everywhere. And there are a lot of free alternatives available. You start using that from your college level itself, you'll get a hang of how things work and how it is. Use it for Fest, use it for Imagine, use it for Manthan, use it for Spandan, that's the best thing to do. You do your whole management through that. So it's an amazing experience.
If we have questions from audience, we can take those questions. Okay, yes, Malhar, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Tanmay. Can you hear me?
I cannot see you, but I can hear you.
Yeah.
I
So
want
I'm
to
on
see
my
you.
phone and my camera is not operating properly. So I'll just use the mic for now.
Okay, no problem. No
So,
problem.
so you spoke a little bit about blockchain and your experience with it, and like how you kind of learned the entire aspect of it through your own research. So, so I think with the new crypto regulations that were introduced after the budget, I think there has been so much talk around this is it for cryptocurrency, but I think we can all agree that the underlying technology, which is blockchain, is going to be the future in many different respects and not just going to be limited to cryptocurrency. So from your aspect, there has been so many conversations about how this can help. For example, the rural areas of India, which is the majority of our population, don't have access to finance, right? For their businesses, for their, many of them are farmers, they don't get access to finance. So do you think, with Web3 and blockchain, we are slowly going to change that? And maybe this is going to be the aspect which is going to fuel more businesses and startups in the coming future?
Absolutely. Decentralized finance or DeFi, as you pointed out, it's the game changer which is going to be coming up now. You can hear to the podcast which I've done with Ray Yusuf. He's, as I said, CEO of the largest crypto peer-to-peer crypto exchange. He shared a lot of ideas on that. Then Mr. Mukesh Ambani shared his thoughts on decentralized finance and all the other things. So power is going to be decentralized. For taking money, I don't have to go to bank or show them the bank documents. We usually, like bootstrapping, or when you're starting out startup, you generally go to the first network, friends, relatives, and people you know, or second or third tier of connection. But decentralized finance, you can directly take funds from a person whom you have never met before. So you don't have to go to a bank. You can take it from individuals, you can take it from companies, and that can solve a lot of problems. So that can save time. You can pick, and you don't have to trust the person. The whole trust is in the system. The whole trust is in the blockchain system. That contract is a note of when the interest has to be given back, what is to be done when. So it cannot be tempered by anybody. So that's the core thing about blockchain. It's the contract, and the system is on this. The faith is on the system. So it will definitely help people in rural areas. The government has done a good step. At least they have legalized it. Before, it was in a gray area if it is not, if it is legal or not legal. Okay, 30% will do, but it's at least it's legal, and at least we're progressing in that area. That's an amazing thing. Another best use case of blockchain, I think, it's in the maintaining all the government documents. If you're in real estate, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you have any business that has got to do a lot of things with government and taking their documents and all that. So blockchain with blockchain, those documents can be stored everywhere. You can get it within an hour or very quickly. You don't have to wait in line and go from table to table to ask permission, ask signatures. That all can be done, taken care of on the system. And documents won't be lost, documents won't be tempered. So that's another big use case which I propose, or I hope somebody is thinking about it, or we could start that. We could do that with government maybe.
Right, right. And do you think maybe like to take this forward, we are going to face some backlash maybe from regulators, because decentralized in its essence means you're taking power away from those who have that in the present moment, like financial
see
institutions?
See, the regular banks may have to modify, but RBI will be there. They do the monetary policies. Their role will be reduced, but that has to be there. These are the basic government. They channelize, or they do what the whole macroeconomic needs and do accordingly. Of course, there will be a backlash. Nobody likes change. People just like to keep doing what they want. And that's another thing in entrepreneurship and in business. That's another challenge, Gautami, that you face is it's really difficult to change mind of people to adopt new technology. So whatever technology I said for them to make you them to use, you'll have to gamify that or make it more interesting to do that. So back to Mallar, this of course there will be a backlash, but you cannot stop it. You cannot stop the flow of water, and it has already they tried to ban it once. Now they are not able to do that. So it's better to hop onto the bandwagon and keep creating and go ahead with that. So yeah, keep your eyes open, ears open, and learn as much as you can on this. And of
Right. I
course,
think
one biggest suggestion is do your own research. Uh, as it is, you need to take care of your seed phrase. If you're starting off seed phrase of the wallet, you become your own banker. You lose the seed phrase, you lose all your money, you lose all your NFTs, you lose all your documents. So the seed phrase is important. So those things you need to be care about, not logging into some anonymous links. Uh, yeah, so do your own research, be careful about things what you're doing, but don't let that stop you from taking steps or taking risks. So go ahead. Every point has a counter argument. So if I can take a whole hour lecture on this. So yes, go ahead. Thank you, Malar. Do you have any more question, or have
no,
I
no, no.
I
That
hope
was
I
it.
have
No,
answered.
that was it. You have answered perfectly. Thank you so much.
And even if you need, right, you can take my contact from Gautami or Shariu ma'am, and you can reach out to me, anybody of you all, and
Sure,
I
sure.
can
No,
provide resources. Yeah,
Sure, Tanmay.
sure.
We would love to share it with people to be able to, for them to be able to reach out to you. I think with this, we're done. If we have more questions, we can take it towards the end of the session.
sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Uh, yes. Our next speaker for the day is Tushar Avdhani. He is also an alumnus of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Pune, and founder of Cosset Care. He was involved and associated with various startups since the beginning of his college days. His former venture, the Artists Bay, revolved around event management, giving a platform to performing artists and artist management, connecting with colleges and students from those colleges through a network of campus ambassadors. He's currently building Cosset Care, period ready, and that offer a wide range of products and services related to menstrual hygiene, and Plush Studio, which is a media design studio. With such experience in diverse domains, I honestly wouldn't want to take much of your time and give him the center stage to take us through his story. Tushar, what?
Thank you so much, Gautami. Thank you to the whole CIE team for having me on board for this session. It's great to be back. Anything that's happening with Symbiosis, I'm very excited and I keep doing these things. And Shari ma'am is always coming up with new things to do in college. And it's just amazing. It's great to be here. I hope I'm audible. I hope I'm clear. Perfect. So basically, today I'll focus on two of my businesses, which is Cosset, and the other one is Period Ready. Both are to do with menstrual hygiene products and services. Uh, to go to the beginning of my story, we would have to go to 2019. That's when I graduated from college. And after graduating, that's when we stopped the artist management and event management firm that Gautami just mentioned. After that, I was sort of just looking at different avenues, thinking of starting something new. I had no clue as to what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I had to start something different of my own. And one of these days, it was me and a couple of friends sitting and just having a normal conversation about something. And one of our female friends mentioned this statistics that sort of really um, fit into my head. And the statistics was 40% of India does not have access to menstrual hygiene products. Basic menstrual hygiene awareness and access is limited to just 60% of menstruating women in India. So 40% of India does not have access. That was the first stat. And the second stat, this is not really a stat, but after I basically got these stats, I went out and did some more research of my own. I realized that there has to be something that can be done here. Mind you, there were already other players who were doing something. Uh, there were different people looking at different avenues in menstrual hygiene products and services. But the market itself is so big that I thought it's worth giving it some more research. And when I researched some more, here's what I found out. 40% does not have access. The rest 60%, which is the urban India that does have access to menstrual hygiene products, they use one of the top three brands that all of us know about. We see the ads on the TV, and obviously the women know exactly what brands I'm talking about. All these brands are made of plastic as their main raw material, and they are chemically processed. And there are actually a huge number of complaints that users have with these products. But then comes the question of why have so many people kept using those products, right? So that's where marketing comes into the picture, and that's where society comes into the picture. This the nature of the topic being such that uh, firstly, discussions of that nature were not happening to the degree that they need to. Secondly, the taboo being there is a lot of people did not want to discuss it. They didn't want to think about it. They weren't looking for newer products. There was not so much marketing on behalf of other brands as well. So I went out and I was looking for a better quality sanitary pad in the market, and the fact is that we did find better quality sanitary pads that were made of cotton, that were organic, that were much better both for the environment as well as the user. So the next question was, why aren't people actually using these products? That's where marketing came into the picture. These products did not have a good brand name around it. And given the intimate nature of the product, you need to trust a brand for this, for using a product of this nature. And since these products were all, there was no marketing behind it, there was no brand building behind it. People did not know about it, or they saw it in a pharmacy store, but they were not really interested to buy it because that trust just did not come across. So basically, that's we then decided to sort of merge the two things. One is that take a better quality product that is available in the market, and on the other hand, try to build a good brand around it. You know, have great packaging, make sure the messaging is very concise and clear, and basically build a very good customer delight, right? Like I'm sure a lot of you, since a lot of you must be entrepreneurship students, I'm sure you'll have heard this word called customer delight. That's the main thing when it comes to D2C, direct to customer brands. So that is something that we really focused on, and that was the birth of Cosette, basically. In the beginning of 2020, we launched Cosette, and for the next immediately after that, there was COVID, and while we were just trying to navigate through that, we realized one more thing. Uh, One, yes, there is a need for a more sustainable product that might be useful, that might be better for both the user and the environment. There is still a huge chunk of market who is used to the previous products that they've been using and might not necessarily want to make the shift. Even if they don't want to make a shift to a better product, the fact still remains that around 40% of the whole world's population menstruates for 4 to 7 days of every month. Why isn't there any form of automation in that? You know, even if it's not a product that they need, they might still need a service which automates the thing. They're using the same product every month for 4 to 7 days. Just like your electricity bill gets paid automatically from your credit card every month, why isn't there a service that automatically brings your choice of menstrual hygiene product to your doorstep 15 to 25 days before your next period? Because that became another thing, right? So period tracking, that's a whole different thing, and that's something that we are also getting into. But point being that since we understood that there's a whole chunk of market where we can give this service to them, where we can make sure that they have pads handy 15 to 25 days before their next period automatically, where they don't have to worry about it. Come on on the website once, or the app, or whatever platform it is, set it up. Every month you're going to get your product to your doorstep. Or if you want to change if your next month you're going to be somewhere else in a different city, you can just go there, you can change the address, and your product will reach there. It's fairly easy to do this in the sense that there is no technical or specific know-how that was required to make this, but it all came to the execution of it. It all came to the brand building part of it, and it all came to customer delight part of it again. That's when we launched Period Ready. So the name Ready, that's what we were trying to do with it. Red as in color of blood, E as in e-commerce, and ready as in you're ready for your next period. So we launched that in 2021, and that's where we are now. There's a product brand which is called Cosette, which is a safer and a more natural alternative of menstrual hygiene product for both the user and the environment. And on the other hand, we have a service-based platform called Period Ready, where we are trying to sort of build a one-stop platform for all things menstruation, sexual health, and gynecology. And basically, that's where we stand right now. And yeah, I think that's about it when it comes to my business. And I would actually like to get a lot of questions from people because I want to answer specific questions if I can. More than I think people would be more interested in the know-how of things, in the business related questions of things more than like my journey, because that's not relevant beyond a certain point. So I think over to you, Gautami. The questions are welcome. Thank you so much.
Sure. So when you were talking about your entire journey, one thing that I really noticed is that you've done a lot of research and a genuine try to understand the space, right? I mean, because you've chosen to be in a very sensitive space and it requires a good understanding, not from just a business point of view, but also from the point of view of identifying the problem area and actually being in a position to cater to the needs of women out there, right? So, how did you sort of get yourself to understand the entire space and be genuinely interested in knowing what people go through and what their needs are?
Okay, so there's a 2-point answer to this. First is that the theoretical aspect of this can be understood on the internet. That's the best part. We live in great times because all the information is out there. But here's the catch. That is limited. That's data. That's basically what you can quantify. Anything that you can quantify, you'll find on the internet. You'll get that form of data from there. That's where the second point came in, where I actually had to understand women's experience so that I knew exactly what the pain point was and what exactly it was that needed to be solved. That's where communication came into the picture. Thankfully, I had a lot of female friends who were very open to discuss these topics with me. People in my house, the women in my family, and everyone around me was actually very thankful. I'm very thankful to them. They were very helpful and they were ready to answer any form of question. And I think that's sort of what entrepreneurship also is, right? Like you need to have a micro yet macroscopic viewpoint of society, and only then you realize the problems that exist and also real, relevant, and feasible solutions. Like you can come up with solutions, but they have to be real, relevant as well, and they have to be feasible from a business point of view. So these solutions came after I spoke to people, after I could get feedback, and after I could understand what exactly it is that they go through because I don't go through that problem. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think Tushar, that was a perfect answer. I mean, what you said about the data, but also being sensitive about those issues and actually being able to understand them. My second question to you is your products stand for going chemical free and minimizing the usage of plastic in sanitary pads with a mission to give natural experience, causing negligible or no harm to women and environment. So what is your vision like for the next coming years, and how do you see yourself going ahead with corset care and period ready?
Okay, so with corset care, what we're next going to do is get into different products. A lot of people are now getting more and more comfortable with using other menstrual hygiene products like tampons, like menstrual cups, which are even better for the environment. Some of them are. Menstrual cups are obviously. Tampons, it really depends on the raw material again. But basically, that's what we're going to try to do. Come up with product options, one, and secondly, reach out to more people because the market is so big that you need to have enough people firstly know about your product. Then secondly, at some point, they're going to decide to buy your product. So they need to see you multiple times on different platforms, really trying to make some impact. Like that's where empathy also plays a role in entrepreneurship, right? Like empathy, it sounds like nice, good, all that stuff is there. But essentially what it means is that actually a lot of these business gurus on YouTube and stuff, they use this word a lot. But it makes sense from a very business point of view also. If you try to think of it from a very shrewd perspective, empathy would mean that when you're listening to someone, you truly understand what they do. And only then you can solve a problem and only then you can add value. But so my point, coming back to your question, is that we're going to be open to that feedback and we're going to be open to really reaching more people. And with Cosset, there's that. With Ready, we are sort of trying to build a one-stop platform for all these things that I mentioned: menstruation, sexual health, and gynecology. So how we intend to do that is we want to have one app, which is sort of the go-to for any woman for any of these things. So there is a period tracker that is tracking your periods, apps like that already exist. But the difference maker is, according to your period being tracked, 15 to 25 days before your next period, 15 to 25 days because the dates keep shifting every now and then. 15 to 25 days before your next period, we'll make sure that your whatever chosen product is there, it reaches your doorstep. So that's the second feature that the app would have. The third thing would be that it would be sort of a new age, redefined digital magazine sort of a thing, where we would focus on one women-centric content. So that we actually build a huge group of women on one platform who can interact freely, who can talk to each other, who can discuss various topics. Now, these don't necessarily have to be topics that are related to menstruation or sexual health or any of these things. Of course, those things, but also just different things that a woman would want to talk to another woman about. So that's sort of what we're trying to build in the next couple of years.
Thank you, Tushar. I think my last question to you would be, I mean, like I mentioned before, your entrepreneurial journey started way back in college, which is why I
Right.
believe you've seen entrepreneurship in its multiple facets and layers, right? So, what are a few myths about entrepreneurship that you would like to bust for us today?
Uh, One is that the whole approach to entrepreneurship, I feel, and this was true in my case as well. I'm not saying that the world does it, I don't do it. It's not like that. Me and a lot of people, they approach entrepreneurship with the mindset of मुझे खुद का करना है, किसी के साथ किसी के नीचे काम नहीं करना है. At least that's what I see, and that's how I used to think. When your approach is that, what ends up happening is it adds a new layer to how you would actually execute in your offering or in your business, how you conduct your business. There would be a new layer that comes in, because then, since your approach is a little flawed, then instead of that, because again, what ends up happening also is that uh, you want kuch khud ka to karna hai, right? So what that means is that I want to do what I want to do. I want to be owner of my time. I want to decide how things go. I want to decide how my day will go. I'm going to do what I like to do. But I mean, all the whole panel would know this, and a lot. I think everyone would have an idea about this, that it really is not that, especially in entrepreneurship. It cannot be that. Instead, with a job, you could actually make that happen, because in a job, what would happen is, if you like doing a certain thing, for example, if you're just interested in making posters, and you go and do a job at a place where your responsibility is making posters, that you're still doing something that you love. As an entrepreneur, don't expect that. It's at a macro level that you need to love what you're doing. That is building something, making an impact, having your product or a service reach millions of people, change the world in a small or a big way, whatever it is that you're trying to do. That could be your approach. But when it is about these things, it really doesn't work out, I feel. At some point, it doesn't work out. I mean, at some point, you get that feedback loop saying that, this is a myth. Like, in entrepreneurship, more than anything, you would have to do things that you don't want to do, or you don't feel comfortable doing, or that might not really be your strong point. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kush has a question. Kush, can you just unmute yourself and go ahead?
Hi Tushar, am I audible?
Yes, Kush, you are. Hi.
Hi Tushar, actually I have a question for that. As I have read in some countries like Scotland and New Zealand, the government are distributing sanitary pad and menstrual health kit for free.
Correct.
So how you see, there are certain NGOs also working in India which are providing these things at a very cheap cost of rupees 2 or 3. So how are
Right.
you taking thinking about the profitability? Because as entrepreneur, we see that a business needs to be a very profitable business for a
Mhm.
continuous growth. So how do you see to manage or generate a good amount of profit out of this business in a long term?
Okay, that's actually a great question, Kush. But with Ready, we actually distribute sanitary pads for free as well, right? So what we do is, whenever someone makes a purchase of a pad, we donate one pad to someone who might need one. Actually, you could go through our Instagram page and you'll find pictures from the last distribution drive that we did. There's a school called some government school, Sopanrao something government school here in Baner, and we went to that school. There were these girls who were in the 7th and 8th grade, who were at the brink of starting their periods, and we collaborated with an organization called Jazz Hands, and through dramatics we gave them information about menstruation. We sort of broke the taboo. We told them, this is not something to be ashamed about. The whole thing. So my point being that while our business is selling menstrual hygiene products, if you could do distribution for free, like, again, see, that's the point, right? It's 50% of the whole population for about a very good part of their lives will need this product or a service related to that. So that's point number one. That's how the point that being that the market is big enough where you, I think it's also a responsibility. Like if there is a chunk of market which can afford your product, you sell that product to them. But then someone who does not even have access to that product, try and do those distributions for free. That's point number one. Point number two, talking about the governments making it free of cost. I think that's going to take some time to happen in India because there are a lot of operational and logistical problems behind that. India is a much more complex country. It's a bigger country. Uh, it's a more culturally diverse country, which also would play a role in a topic like this. So considering all those things, one, there is time for something like that to happen. And two, even if that happens, like even if you imagine a time where all menstrual hygiene products are free, right? And the government will still have to buy it from someone, right? There is still some form of transaction that happens somewhere in the supply chain. The end customer might not buy it, but in the supply chain, the government is not going to manufacture them. They're going to buy it from a manufacturer, or they're going to hire a manufacturer to do that. So that's one of the things. And thirdly, that's also a point that I would like to make for entrepreneurship, which is that you better damn be sure that you're really open to feedback. You're looking at what's going on. Don't get too attached to the product or the market. I think Tanya mentioned something on these lines before, where you don't have to, like, don't take it personally. Then what happens is that you are open to feedback. You can improvise, you can adapt, and you can overcome. Again, you'll see a lot of these businessmen who've made it. Right? They keep talking about pivoting, like, reiterate quickly, make something, launch it, let it be in the market, get feedback quickly, reiterate quickly, change the product, make tweaks, make small changes here and there. You keep doing that, and you see this with so many businesses in the past also, right? I can't think of an example right now, but a lot of products, their product used to be something completely different, or their service used to be something completely different. That did not work out, and at some point they pivoted their business model a little bit, and they made sure that they were still in that industry somehow, but they were now the market they're offering was something completely different. So that's the approach that I sort of have going towards this. I would also like to answer one more question. I think another thing that you're trying to ask is that corset products are, for example, priced a little more than what you would find in the market. But
Exactly.
yeah. So that's fundamental economics, right? It's the more towards natural you go, the more towards organic you go, your price costs do increase. There is just no way around it because that's why we use plastic, right? That's why we use chemically processed raw materials because they're so easy to make and they're so cost efficient. That's not the case with cotton. You're still growing it on the field. So since this price difference is going to be there, that's where marketing is going to play a role, right? That's where all branding, brand positioning, how you package your products, customer delight, all these things would come into the picture. So we do small things like, let me just give you an example actually. In Cosset, every month, we put a new playlist called period playlist, call it Cosset period playlist in the box. See, it's not a big thing, right? It's just 5 songs that are there, which we could actually send them on. They know these songs maybe, like it makes no difference at all. It's just a small touch. But these small differences you can make as a brand identity. I think in the big picture, it can make a huge difference.
Understood. Thank you very much, Tushar, for answering.
Thanks, Kush. You could look at both, now that Shark Tank and all is so much out there, and the board's person, the founder is on the panel, is one of the judges. Boards came with earphones and headphones maybe 5 or 10 years ago. There were headphone audio companies for decades, Sony, all these big names. But their whole game has been this, customer delight, customer experience, marketing, brand building, and they've done it. Also, but price was on their side there. But you get the point. There are some things that you can do to fight.
Understood. Perfect. Thank you very much, Tushar.
Thank you so much, Tushar. I think we can take questions at the end of the session, and we can go on with the next speaker. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Our last speaker for the day is Amya Madan. She is the founder of Equibon's You Write, We Discover. She's also a certified graphologist and an author. She was awarded with the Future Prospect of the Year 2021 and Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan International Award as the Most Innovative Director Award. She was one of the jury members for India 20 Under 20 program for the young CEOs at White Canvas India. She was invited as a guest speaker at various events such as IMC Youth Conclave, Kanda University, Japan, etc. She is not just an entrepreneur, she's also a writer, and she has recently published her first book, Write Your Own Happiness. I think we're very glad to have you, Amya, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Gautami. It's so good to be here, and thank you so much for this lovely introduction. So, yes, this journey has been unique, and this journey began with SCAC only. And after 2 years, having a session over here to share my entrepreneurial journey is really nice and amazing. Over these 2 years, and have conducted more than 60 plus sessions, interviews, and podcasts across different colleges, across different B schools and platforms. So today, I would like to start off telling about my entrepreneurial journey with one thing that how I started was because of my passion. So I am a handwriting and signature analyst, and my startup's name is Ecrivant. You write, we discover. It's a French word which means let's write. The basic idea behind starting off with this startup was to let people know about their own selves, their strengths and weaknesses, and let them identify their personality traits just by looking at their handwriting and signature. But when I started off with this, I never had an idea that it is going to convert into a startup. I started doing sessions. It was back in 2019 when I completed my certification and I was doing my graduation in psychology. So my interest was into knowing about individuals, knowing about the behaviors and how it varies from an individual to individual. And that is how, just to know more about the other people, I started using handwriting analysis as a tool to know about a person's personality. We have a lot of psychometric tests, but as in when I was using those tests, I realized that it shows a lot of practice effect. So once I conduct a test or I take up a test, after 5 or 6 times, I'll know what do I have to tick mark or what scoring will come. But I cannot actually fake my personality on a sheet of paper because it is all subconscious. And that's how I started conducting handwriting analysis for my friends and family members, just to help them out to know about themselves and just to get my feedback whether I'm doing it right or not. And the kind of accuracy level I could tell them, it actually showed me that this is a proven science and art, which invoked my interest into it. And I thought, why not make it a full time startup? And that's how the journey began, from passion to making it to a startup. And I still do it out of passion because I really want to know about other people. So as we are here for the Pitch Perfect, I would like to show you my pitch, what I use for pitching my idea to the stakeholders, for the colleges, and of course for the competitions. So here, just let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah, I hope it's visible. Okay. So, Ecrivant is basically a personality and life transformation platform using graphology. And one thing I always start off with is a story. So there are a lot of times when we think, when we are confused about which career paths to go into, we do not know what is the right thing for me. And that is why statistically it is also shown that 9 out of 10 people aged between 21 and 65 say they regret rushing their career choices. And 60% of the employees say that they hate their current jobs. It leads to nothing but a lot of anxiety, stress, and eventually depression. And these were the problems that I identified. But for that, the solution that Ecrivant offers is for the people who have no or less knowledge of their strengths and weaknesses. So it solves all these problems by providing the personality profiles of individuals based on their handwriting and signature analysis, which includes a lot of services like career guidance, compatibility assessment, employee recruitment, as well as personality development. So there are various products and services that we offer, although the core of the industry that we are into is a service-based industry, but we offer products which are unique to our company, which are the personality report cards and the graphotherapy books. So along with conducting a lot of sessions, workshops, and boot camps, we offer people the personality report card. So just like you get the academic scorecards, this is a report card which lists your strengths and weaknesses on your emotional, cognitive, behavioral, as well as social areas. And we are not just a problem focused startup, but we also provide solution to individuals by the graphotherapy books, wherein you can actually change your handwriting and certain aspects of it to bring about a change in your personality. The target market that we are focusing on are the users and the buyers. Now, this is something that you all need to keep in mind when you are looking for your own venture. Your users and buyers may or may not be the same always, because our end users are the students. That is, they are taking the personality test or they are taking their handwriting analysis to know about their career choices. But our buyers who have the purchasing power are the parents, teachers, all the schools. So when I am formulating my market strategy, I may not target the students directly, but my buyers, because they are the ones who are going to pay for my service. Similarly, our users are the working professionals, the MBA aspirants in B schools, or the people who are working in an organization. But they may not directly take up our services because the buyer might be the HR in corporate who want to know more about their employees, and therefore they are going to buy our services and pay for it. Similarly, the entrepreneurs, they want to know more about the business investors. They want to know more about their own selves, and they want to know more about their employees. And that is the reason they can take up these services into personality development as well as handwriting analysis. So the marketing strategies that we use to reach out to these people, the users and the buyers, could be different and could differ for your venture. So what I use as my marketing strategy is to do giveaways and gift vouchers by sponsoring the events, doing a lot of collaborations with people, reaching out to them, and amalgamating different topics to conduct workshops. For example, with a career counselor, I can have a personality development workshop. Similarly, I can combine art therapy with graphotherapy. And that's how we can reach out to more people, because graphotherapy or graphology is something which people are not much aware of. So podcasts and live sessions along with the webinars play a crucial role in making people aware of what it actually is. And the foot in the door technique, which works awesome in case. Foot in the door technique is basically you're asking somebody to buy something at a lower cost or at a lower price ticket, and then when they get interested into your product, you ask them to buy the premium service. So it starts with asking people to take up or know about their own selves, 5 traits of their personality. And once they find that the 5 traits are accurate, they go for the in detail analysis. And that is how the marketing happens, because you do not need to do the entire analysis for everybody. And people want to try things first and then pay for it later. So the competitive analysis is very important. And what I found through my competitive analysis was that most of the graphologists are working on a B2C model where they're directly going to the customers, retail clients, and then selling up their services. But how we are different is our target market is basically the B2B market, where we approach the B schools directly or the corporates directly to give services to a lot of individuals together. So my customer acquisition cost decreases there because I do not have to individually go to one customer and ask them to pay for a service. Instead, I just have to convert one B school and they are going to give me 3,000 to 4,000 employees or aspirants. So the USP is very important, and how our USP creates magic for us is a reverse process. We do not ask people to enroll for the program. Instead, we just analyze their traits and let them introspect. We also follow an objective technique wherein we help them identify their strengths and weaknesses. And all the modules that we offer in graphotherapy are all customized. because no two individuals have the same handwriting or the same personality. That is why whatever graphotherapy books are given to them are all unique to the specific weakness that they have. We also track their progress because the book that is given to them is for 30 days. And as and when the changes come up in their handwriting, that is how we can assure that changes are happening in their personality as well. So the finances are very important for any organization, and you need to be very clear of where your expenditure is and where you are generating your revenue from. So our revenue streams are different, that is from B2C and B2B both. And at the same time, even though we were functioning online these 2 years, but there were a lot of expenses that go unnoticed. For example, for the Zoom subscription, the startup registration charges, and the graphotherapy books printing. And therefore, the expenditure becomes more important to take into consideration, as well as the revenue to actually know what the profits are. So the scalability is a major factor, and that was a basic question that I used to come across. How is your venture scalable? So how is my venture scalable is proven by the flywheel model, which says that as and when I get more testimonials on board, more people on board, they're going to share their experiences on the website. They're going to share their experiences with other people. And that is how there is more traffic on the website. There's more traffic in the company, which is going to bring more customers. Now, when you bring more customers on your platform, you can definitely reduce your cost. And when your own cost reduces, you can further reduce the prices. That further reduced price eventually brings in more customers. And that is how you attract customers, engage with them, and delight them with your services. So this is a glimpse of the milestones that we have achieved so far. I started with the analysis of friends and family members, and then conducted the career guidance sessions across schools, conducted live analysis during fest, and then conducted the free webinars. Finally, the website was launched in August 2020, and by now I have completed the analysis of 4,100 plus individuals within a span of 1.5 years, have received 30 plus certificates and recognitions, and have conducted 60 plus workshops across schools and colleges, have been a part of 15 plus interviews and talk shows, podcasts, and have finally launched the personality development modules. Although these numbers look really nice, but what goes behind is a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles, and a lot of disheartenedness when actually people say that this is something which is not right, which is not proven. How can you prove the science behind your concept? So just a suggestion, do not try to prove your concept to people who actually do not know about it. Because if you waste time convincing them, you will lose on a lot of customers who actually want you. So this was the major milestone that we achieved of conducting the handwriting analysis of 3,000 plus MBA aspirants during the admission process, which was used at SIBM Pune. And the interviewers used the analysis of the individuals during the interview process. Thank you so much, everyone. You can ask your questions, so I'll be happy to answer.
I think, Amya, your presentation was so well structured and well defined. I mean, you've covered all aspects of entrepreneurship. So one thing that you talked about is passion, right? And you turned your passion and liking towards something into a viable career option. So, and I'm sure this wasn't easy when you actually first started out convincing people that this is a viable career option. So, how did you do it, and how would you ask others and help our budding entrepreneurs if they're taking an offbeat career path like this?
Trust me, it was very difficult, but now over the time, I have people who say that we want to learn it, we want to make up our career in this field. So it was a very new concept, but one thing I made sure was this is something which is going to work in the long run. We were not accustomed to using the digital banking system. We were not accustomed to using Zomato and Swiggy, but that penetrated into the market. So I started using that penetration strategy where I just conducted sessions wherever and whenever I got a chance. I used to tell people about the facts and figures. And first and the foremost thing, I used to share the testimonials of people who have taken up the services. So when that started happening, people actually became aware of it. I started off with my YouTube channel just to keep a track of what all there are things in graphology, so that those all who view have at least an idea of what this concept is. So those testimonial videos, those workshops actually helped a lot. And I feel that is how people became more aware of it. And now this concept, at least in my circle or in my network, people know about this concept very well.
Thank you. My next question to you would be, it's often said that getting your first few customers, that is the main, part of the entire thing. When you reach to a certain number, it just goes on exceeding. The first few customers it's very hard to get. So how was your experience in doing that, and what would you like to share?
So pricing, I feel, plays a very important role in getting and converting the few customers. So a lot of people might be interested in your service, but not all will pay for it. So what I call the customers is basically who come and pay for your service, and that was actually difficult because there are a lot of people who were ready to take it for free, but when they got to know about the fee for it, they were like, okay, we'll think about it. We don't need it. So how I started off with was I started giving them giveaways, and as I told you, I started giving them pay later start. I started with a pay later strategy. So I used to tell them the 5 traits of their personality for free. Just get to know about yourself. Once you find it accurate, then get your complete analysis done. And that is, I think, worked for me because once so there in the service industry, you have nothing tangible. I do not have a product to tell them which they can see, which they can feel. But what I have to tell them is about their own selves. So once they get to know the accuracy level of this service, they are ready to pay for it. And that is how I converted my first customers.
I think gaining trust is like that becomes a major factor in a service like this, right?
Right.
I think we're open for the questions from audience. So if you all have any questions for Amir, just raise your hand. I think we don't have any questions because you genuinely was so well defined and well structured with the entire pitch that it actually solved like a lot of queries for me also. I would like to ask you one thing, one last question from my side. Okay, there is one question from the audience. Oh, okay. Yes, Varun, go ahead.
Okay, so hi Amya. Am I
Hi.
audible?
Yes, you are.
So yeah, as we all know that graphology or handwriting analysis is a very niche market. So by that I mean that most of the people are not very aware about the service when it started. So there's this saying that getting your first 5 customers is tougher than getting the next 100 customers. So how tough was it to get your first few customers, and what was your kind of what was your approach towards the situation back then?
So, as I told you, I started off with the first workshop that I conducted, and that is when I got my first few. Am I audible?
Yeah, all good.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I started conducting webinars and workshops for free because initially, when people are not aware of your service, when people are not aware of your company, they're not ready to pay for it, even for the workshop or the webinar, even the slightest amount of it. So I conducted workshops and webinars across colleges. I followed an approach of directly calling people of the institutes, directly calling people in my own schools and in my own network, and asking them to allow me to give a slot and just conduct that workshop. So during that workshop or the session, I just used to tell them not to buy my product or service, but you just used to tell them what this concept is and ask them to try it there and then. So I used to give them certain tricks and tips where they can actually see how things work in handwriting analysis. I asked them to do their own handwriting analysis, and once they find it accurate, then take up our service. So that is something how I started off with to get my first few customers. It was tough. It was not easy because a lot of people can be interested for it, but a lot of people will not pay for it. So after eventually conducting 5 or 6 sessions and workshops and doing a lot of podcasts, it was then that I could convert few of my customers.
That's great. Thanks a lot for your answer.
Thank you so much, Amya. And I think with this, we've come to an end with the speaker panel. I mean, all four of you all just came in and threw light on different aspects and different tricks and tips that we can actually incorporate in our not just our entrepreneurial life, but also our daily, routine lives as well. So I would really, okay, thank you. So with that, we've come to an end. I would like to request the head of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and our mentor, Dr. Sharif Bakre, to kindly speak a few words.
First of all, let me congratulate all four of you all. I mean, amazing pitch, amazing pitch. Each one of you all had so much to share, you know, and even, I mean, the duration of your business, I think, is not, it doesn't matter here. The experiences which you've had, you know, in those 2 years or 3 years or 4 years of, you know, you doing that business is important, and that is what was very appealing to the students. So I would just like to now conclude by, you know, pointing out to each one of yours pitch. So Tanya, I think let's start, because Tanya was the one who began the session. So Tanya, as we could, everybody could understand from her journey, from how she's actually, you know, gone from being the best student of the college to a phase which I have also lived with her, you know, in the sense that I have also experienced, you know, her that phase which she went through, the phase where, you know, she was in a dilemma, she was, you know, literally she had gone into depression, but then, you know, she pulled herself out and she followed her passion. And I was really thrilled when I came to know that she had founded Nimantran Digital Designs. So Tanya, I think your journey is truly, truly appreciating. I'm very, very sure that you're going to go long ahead in life. So I can never forget that day Tanya had come to college. She was completely, you know, completely down, and she didn't know, ma'am, मैं क्या करूँ अभी? So students, so this is a lesson I think we can learn from Tanya, that getting that strength, and, you know, in your down, and then again, you know, getting it to come back and start your own business. And today she's a startup founder. So thank you, Tanya, for believing in my words, and even going forward with my words, that you can be a job creator, okay, and not a job seeker, because she always had that in her, you know, always.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So we have Tanya, you know, and it was really nice to listen to you. Tanmay, what should I say about Tanmay? His enthusiasm in the college. I'm sure every teacher in the college knows him very. Of course, even Tanya. Every teacher in the college knows Tanmay because he was there everywhere, whether it was liberal arts programs, or whether it was Imagine, or whether it was, you know, Tedx. I mean, Tedx was not there when Tanmay was there, but so many other programs, as he has already mentioned. And but what I noticed about, he was very enthusiastic during graduation, but after he graduated, Tanmay, students, you know, see, we all experienced that phase. So Tanmay has also gone through that phase of being a little unsure of exactly what should I do, you know, now in that particular period. And he was also clueless. Abhi main kya, what is it that I should be doing going forward? And I remember when I used to interact, he was very sure that he didn't want to go in for post-graduation, but he really wanted to do something. And he's also had his down phase. But today I can see Tanmay so confident and, you know, so stabilized in his business. And I had the opportunity to visit Tanmay and see what he's doing. So Tanmay, kudos to you. Really good work. Excellent. Tushar. So Tushar was again, you know, a student who I hardly saw in the classes, but because he was doing so many things, you know, when he was taking his education. He was, I think, into businesses right since he was in the second year. I remember he was, you know, into his event management startup at that time. And he was not very academically inclined, but he surely was inclined towards being a businessman, you know. So entrepreneurship was something which was in his kida tha usme. So he was a serial entrepreneur. He's moved from one business to another. And when he told me that, ma'am, this is my business, which I'm doing now, the corset, right? And that was something, a very different kind of a business. For a boy to go in for this kind of a business was really, really amazing. And I thought, you know, that Tushar is in a very meaningful business. So students, there's no shame, you know, whether what gender you are and what business idea you choose to. I think there should not be any shame. You should just follow you know, what you want to do and move ahead. So that's what Tushar has done. So Tushar, congratulations to you. Amia,
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, just a second. I would just like to mention this one thing. It's true that I would not come to college a lot, but everyone like Shari ma'am was actually so supportive about it all throughout. She used to ask me once, like with she used to make that angry face once, and she used to ask me, "Why did you come to college?" And I used to be like, "Ma'am, I'm trying to do this and that and all that." And then ma'am used to be like, she was always very supportive. She wasn't one of those like college आना ही पड़ेगा, ये करना ही पड़ेगा. She was like, "Okay, what are you doing?" She would ask me more questions about my business actually, more than worrying about if I was in class or not.
I remember
It
your
was amazing.
event management business. I remember it very clearly. You were
Yes,
into
ma'am.
artist, I think artist platform. Yeah.
Yeah. It was called the
That's a
Artist
very
Day.
nice business idea which somebody can pick up. I think it's a brilliant business idea, a platform where all artists can come together. I think one of our another alumni was doing the same thing, Abhishek Kavitkar. He's also into something like that. I think Tushar, you could meet him. He also does in a similar platform.
Hi, sir.
Okay. So Amya was, she's not a student of our college, but she's surely a student of Symbiosis International University. So it's a proud moment for us to have her here. And I still remember the first time she approached me was for conducting a session. And as I said that, she did conduct. And after that, students I have seen. So imagine a business which she just knew that knowledge. She just had the knowledge of that particular skill or, or of that particular field. That is it, because she'd done some certification and she wanted to follow that. So she started off zero, okay, just with that knowledge. But today you can see after 2 years, I think, of her journey, I think she's made a wonderful place for herself. The way she's taken her startup forward. What I've seen in her, and there's a lot to learn from Amia students, that the persistence, which she showed, and her networking skills, amazing, amazing. ऐसे कोई नहीं है जो I think आमिया जानती नहीं है, in SIU or outside also. So she's taken that effort because she knew that if she did not know this, if she wouldn't do this, she wouldn't be able to, take her business forward. So Amia, I think excellent. So out of these 4 entrepreneurs, we've seen that all of them, in fact, all of them started off doing something which they are passionate about. Second thing is zero assets. I don't see anybody of them, having a business which is focused on a lot of assets. So we can call that they are all asset light companies. Third thing is that each one of them is doing something related to intellectual property, whether it's design, whether it's when Amya is doing this, or the idea of Cosette, or what he's doing with cryptocurrency and blockchain. I think everybody is doing something which is related to IP. So I would conclude from this is that y'all, all of y'all, y'all have left a very long-lasting impact on our students. You don't need to have a lot of capital to start a business, and because y'all started off, most of you started off with zero capital. You all don't need to have big assets, to start a business. It is just that you need to have that keen interest. कि हमको शुरू करना है. We want to do something and we want to be job creators. And I think you all have done a wonderful job in, keeping that concept alive. कि हमको job creators बनना है. Another thing which I noticed from you all is, I don't think so. Like Amia is doing post graduation, but Tushar or Tanya or Tanmay, they didn't feel that there is a need for us to go for any postgraduate degree or in taking education, international education. Maybe they would want to do it later, but they are they took that leap into starting their own business, and that is something which is again very appreciating. That that courage, that no, I don't want to go in for post graduation now, but I want to start on my own, is something which really requires a lot of determination and a lot of courage. So startup founders, okay, you all are all in a learning mode. That is one quality I think we should pass on to the students, that be on the learning mode, keep your mind open, which all of you all have told our audience. You all are go-getters. You all have all got what you really want to do. And one thing which kept you alive as startup founders is self-belief. So I think that is something you all have not, bothered about what the world is trying to tell you. You've just listened to your own heart and you're doing that. So congratulations, and it's really proud for Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce to have you here on this platform. We would like you to come back to our college again and again to guide, mentor our students, because we have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs in our college who want to go ahead but who are confused, हम कैसे आगे जाए. So your guidance is surely going to help them. So thank you so much and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
And one more thing, because you're entrepreneurs, you all are here on this platform, So when somebody asks Tanya that question that, how does it feel to be an entrepreneur rather than taking up a job? So Tanya, I think the answer is this, because you're an entrepreneur, you're here.
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. For the participants, just take a quick note that the process to avail your certificates will be communicated after the vote of thanks. So do not leave the session. With that, I would like to hand over the platform to Varun Mohan for the vote of thanks. Over to you, Varun.
Thank you, Gautami. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. Keeping this thought in mind, I, Varun Manomohan, take immense pleasure in delivering the vote of thanks for today. First and foremost, I would like to extend our warmest regard to our esteemed speakers for today, Tanya Diwan, Tanmay Shah, Tusha Avdani, and Amia Madan. It was an honor to have you as our guest, and we are immensely grateful to you for dedicating time of your busy schedule to provide us with valuable insights and advice, and for interacting with the students of SCAC. Next, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, for providing us with his unwavering support in conducting these sessions despite the college functioning in an online mode, and to our vice principal, Dr. Tessie Tadathil, for always giving us her encouragement and support in conducting such educative sessions. I would also like to express our most hearty and sincere thanks to Dr. Shariu Bakre, our teacher in charge and the head of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, for being a pillar of support and always encouraging and motivating us through countless such endeavors, as an event is never successful without contribution and support of a dedicated team. I would also like to give a huge shout out to each and everyone in the CI team who made this session possible. Gautami Rani, Anmol Singh, Atharvan Berry, Tripti Jain, Nidhi Singh, Anushka Power, Manish Agarwal, Asta Kumar, Divyanshu, Atharv Tidke, and Varun Deshpande. And last but definitely not the least, all of us would like to applaud all the attendees for being such an enthusiastic audience. It was a pleasure hosting you all. Thank you all once again. We have something big planned for you in the coming week, so stay tuned and brace for impact. Thank you.